Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy to...
Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great time at CAMX in Ottawa. This is Mike Leibowitz. 50 years ago, when CAMX was formed, it was expensive to call long distance. Those rates have plummeted to the point they're almost free. My talk is about how this change has affected not only the tax industry, but society in general. The telephone was invented in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell, and most of his work was done right here in Canada. That's why Brantford, Ontario is called Telephone City. Although phone calls could be made from one city to another, even in the early days of the telephone, it wasn't until 1892 that you could call halfway across the country. And it wasn't until 1915 where you could call from coast to coast. In today's dollars, those early long-distance calls were extremely expensive, over $100 per minute. But the rates did fall quickly. By 1930, you could call coast to coast for about $7 a minute. This continued to decrease, and by 1964, when CAMX was formed, you could call coast to coast on weekends and after 11 p.m. for about $1. This dollar was for 3 minutes though. The phone company had a minimum duration of 3 minutes. Can you imagine how nice it would be if we could charge a minimum of 3 minutes on every call we took? So in 1964, let's say you're in Newfoundland and you want to call to Prince Edward Island or perhaps even Kelowna. That would have cost you $1, but only if you called late at night or on weekends. During the business day, that same call would have cost about $3. Now remember, those are the rates in the dollars of that day. If you use the equivalent amount in today's dollars, that $1 call would have cost about $4. So $4 for 3 minutes to call from coast to coast. So with those kind of long distance rates, long distance calling was a luxury. Most people were very careful about when and how long they called. Perhaps if you were the Queen, you could call whenever you wanted. But if you were a normal person in Sudbury, it was something that you only did when you had to. Can you imagine what it was like when you had to be very careful when you wanted to call your grandchildren? Oh, I see we have a question from Cindy Roma. Cindy wants to know, how did answering services serve customers who are not in their local area? Well, Cindy, the answer is they rarely did. Not only was it expensive to call long distance, but without features such as call forwarding, your customers really couldn't get their calls to your service anyway. Mike Shantz has suggested that the fact that we could not serve customers outside our local area is why CAMX flourished. We were colleagues. We have a question from Scott Lyons now. Scott wants to know, how come we are still cooperating as colleagues even though we compete with each other? Good question, Scott. I think the answer is the culture of CAMX and the culture of our industry was set in 1964 and nothing can break it. So what has changed since 1964 now that we do have free or virtually free long distance? Well, we compete worldwide. We're limited only by our own energy and our own imagination. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this look back over the past 50 years. Enjoy the convention and have a great time.